Neymar's transfer to PSG is worth over double the previous world record because of the money involved, the age of the player, and the fact a whole football association tried to stop it. This far surpasses Bonucci to Milan. Besides Luis Figo to Real Madrid from Barcelona, I cannot think of a transfer more shocking than this. For crying out loud, Barcelona overturned a 4-0 deficit to win 6-1 in the second leg against PSG. Heck, Neymar knows this better than anyone. He put in the man of the match performance in that match and said it was the greatest game of his life. But to be honest, that result was a bright spot in an otherwise shady period which threatens to be darkened completely. How close are Barcelona to a crisis? This sounds like a funny statement because they've just won the Copa del Rey and only lost out on La Liga on the last day of the season's Real Madrid. Nonetheless, if not the results, then definitely the performances of a team which used to be referred to as the best team ever just a few years ago has significantly dropped to the point that Luis Enrique resigned after massive amounts of pressure. The alarm bells were ringing for most of the public when Juventus knocked them out the Champions League 3-0, as well as PSG thrashing Barcelona 4-0 in the previous round of the first leg. Truth be told, the decline can be documented over a year ago to March 2016, when Enrique's only tactic, get the ball to the MSN as quickly as possible, started to fall apart. They let a 2-0 lead versus Villarreal disintegrate into a lucky 2-2 draw at the very end. Then they proceeded to lose their next 3 La Liga matches before getting dumped out of the Champions League by Atletico Madrid. Barcelona only won La Liga that season after Luis Suarez dragged them over the line by scoring 16 goals in 7 games. Since then, things have only gotten worse, as Messi has been burdened and overworked with the dual role of being a forward and a de facto playmaker in Xavi's absence, whilst Andres Iniesta fights Father Time. This has led to a wholly effective midfield lacking control and the athleticism to cope with Luis Enrique's direct approach, and a lopsided attack affecting Neymar the most as he had a trash calendar year of 2016. Some examples last year includes Real Betis. Even though Barca drew 1-1, they really should have lost. Ruben Castro not only hit the post but missed several one-on-ones that day, and Dani Ceballos, remember the name? This guy was everywhere, breaking up Barcelona's attacks, but he still found the time to smack the crossbar from distance. Mark my words, even if you include Jordi Alba's wrongly disallowed goal, then Real Betis could have won 4-2. The 1-1 draw versus Real Sociedad was more of the same, as Barcelona were outclassed in possession, outfought by Sociedad in defence, and were lucky the linesman prevented a legitimate goal from Wanmi to be disallowed for offside. And of course there's the 3-1 loss against Man City in the Champions League, among others we don't have the time to go through. Beyond Enrique's one-dimensional tactics, his transfers have been even more confusing. Last summer, he favoured beefing up the squad rather than improving the first 11, and to be fair that made sense, as Barcelona's first 11 is impeccable, but the way Enrique went about it was wrong. Andres Gomez and Paco Alcacer, good players in their own right, were ill-suited, and whilst I see potential in Gomez, strike me down Barcelona fans, to be honest, Alcacer was never good enough. Denis Suarez fared better, but at this stage only has a minimal impact, especially compared to Real's options on the bench, such as Isco, Kovacic, Asensio, Vasquez, the list goes on. The only success story has been Samuel Umtiti. Probably the worst thing Enrique did was not replacing Dani Alves, however. I've already made a video explaining why Barca missed Alves, so you can check that out in the description box or on the card flashing on the top right hand corner now. So all I'll say here is, you don't replace a legendary fullback with the Spanish equivalent of James Milner, and whilst Nelson Semedo in theory solves the Alves-sized gap, as far as last season goes, the damage had already been dealt. Ernesto Valverde has replaced Luis Enrique as manager, but that is no guarantee Barcelona will return to glory. Rubbish transfers have plagued them since Pep Guardiola joined them in 2008. Their success was largely built on La Masia and Guardiola's ability to integrate them into the team, but slowly and surely, since Pep Guardiola left, La Masia graduates have been ignored, meaning the likes of Thiago, Sandro Ramirez, Deulofeu and many others have had to leave to make a name for themselves. It has now gotten to the point you're unsure if anyone is ready to step up, which considering Barcelona's transfer record in the past decade, is worrying. I'd argue they need at least 3 players at a minimum, maybe 5 at most. So whilst Barcelona has received 198 million, does anyone back them to spend it wisely? Take away Neymar's fee, They don't have a lot of personal money to spend. Assuming Neymar's replacement drains the vast majority of the funds, what about Iniesta's replacement? Mascherano was poor last season. Where is the next centre-back? Is it Marlon Santos? Maybe. Can Alcácer and Gomez step up? Mark my words, the remainder of this summer is massive for Barcelona's future. Get it right, and they'll go back to being the best. Get it wrong, and they're one step closer to their pre-Ronaldinho days where they seriously flattered to deceive. This is a point that deserves a video on its own, but I'm tired of people thinking Barcelona have always been a European giant and they are bulletproof. The bulk of their success is split between the 90s Dream Team and the Guardiola-inspired team. Heck, Victor Valdez and many others thank Ronaldinho for reviving their fortunes and turning them into a worldwide powerhouse we know today. Dino joined in 2003, by the way. Research Barcelona, particularly between 2000 and 2003. They were really dark days, which Madrid really embarrassed them by taking one of their two world-class players they had, Luis Figo obviously. The brilliance of the other world-class player, Rivaldo, kept Barcelona credible for a while. When he left to AC Milan, Barcelona spiralled into freefall. Now, I am not saying Barcelona are there yet, but the similarities are striking. They have an aging team, money is short and the academy isn't producing. Am I right or am I being over dramatic? Have your say in the comment section and don't forget to like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel and click the bell for notification of future uploads. Till next time, ciao.